Welcome to your reset with Christiane Piano, where the purpose is to support you in releasing all that you are not, so the truth of who you really are can emerge. This is accomplished through working with the body-mind from an ontological perspective. We use various modalities to support you in supporting yourself exactly where you are, so that you may return to an experience of wholeness and ease, moment by moment. Deep reflection is one of the greatest tools through which to do this. To take a moment, to pause, assess, reflect, and literally and figuratively reset, come back to center, and move back into your one and precious life with increased clarity and purpose. Welcome back. I'm Christiane Piano, and this is part 2 of our exploration of the unimaginable. If you haven't yet listened to part 1, I highly recommend pausing this episode and returning to it upon completion as we build on those foundations. To quickly recap part 1, we talked about stepping into this incredible, unknowable context of life, where breakthroughs reveal themselves in unexpected ways. We also began to connect with our values as a grounding point, a compass to navigate this uncharted territory. As we move into July, we find ourselves at the midpoint of the year. This offers a wonderful, potent time to reflect and release what may be weighing you down, and to allow the next layer of who you truly are to emerge, letting your old skin gracefully fall away. You can create incredible opportunities to allow the next half of the year to unfold with purpose, making conscious choices to become lighter, stronger, and more aligned. In our episode on Beyond Stagnation, we spoke to the complementary nature of yin and yang energies. Right now, we're in the height of yang energy, which brings a wonderful expansive force, perfect for redirecting your energy with purpose. This is precisely why clarity in your values, which we explored in part 1, is so essential prior to taking action. Remember, your values are now focused, serving as your compass for choices and actions in each present moment. When we are clear on our values, we are able to harness our inner direction, which infuses us with the ability to make conscious choices. This clarity then supports your actions and infuses your daily life with a profound sense of aliveness. Now, while being open to the unexpected is crucial, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of creating inner space for it. Most people, in their eagerness for results or driven by the speed ingrained in their nervous system, jump directly into action without this vital step of emptying out first. This often leads to temporary results, a feeling of being constantly stuck in doing, and a lack of clarity, because the time and space to gain perspective and make informed decisions simply isn't present. This is why cultivating space isn't just a luxury. It's a vital prerequisite to have the room within yourself to invite the unimaginable in when it unfolds. This episode will explore ways to support yourself in welcoming the unknown, creating that essential space for it to emerge. So how do we begin this journey from concept to direct experience? Well, today I invite you to take that next step. We'll move beyond the conceptual to the experiential, discovering how to cultivate a deeper, more direct relationship with the unimaginable. We'll explore the quiet power of stillness, the profound wisdom held within your body, and the transformative energy of your breath. Let's open ourselves to what these subtle practices can reveal. To begin cultivating that essential inner space and align with your profound wisdom, we start by simply emptying out. Emptying out what, you may find yourself asking yourself. Simply, what no longer serves you. A helpful question to sit with from time to time is to ask yourself the open question, what have I outgrown? And am I giving myself permission to acknowledge this? This act of acknowledging what's been outgrown can feel hard, challenging, much like when we work with our bodies and come up against something that feels stuck, hardened, or knotted. Our instinct might be to push or tense, but cultivating ease through softening and breathing in that moment of discomfort is often the opposite of what we feel compelled to do. Yet, if we allow ourselves to be present and create space for it in our daily interactions, something beautiful can unfold, just as it did in a recent conversation with one of my sons, whose simple wisdom beautifully highlights the intuitive nature of this point, a wisdom we're all born with, and one our youth wonderfully remind us of. It went a little something like this. My son asked, "How was your practice?" And I replied, "Oh, it was hard." He paused, then genuinely asked, "But was it good?" I was a bit surprised, so I said, "Yes, actually." "How did you know?" And with such simple wisdom, he said, "Well, when it's hard, you let something out," with a warm, knowing smile. His naturally uninhibited shared wisdom speaks to a profound reality. When we encounter difficulty, we're presented with an opportunity to allow something to be released. This isn't about force, it's about inviting. This perspective is particularly relevant when we consider what we've outgrown. You see, so often when we outgrow things in our life, like a pair of pants or a t-shirt, when we outgrow a piece of clothing, we don't try to squeeze ourselves into them. We put them aside or perhaps hand them down or give them to a local charity. But when it comes to outgrowing aspects of our lives, the journey can become much more complex. We outgrow physical things like clothes or toys, which are often simpler to deal with, but then we also outgrow relationships, roles we play, the jobs we engage in, which can be particularly tough depending on cultural expectations, and even the identities we have worn. And this can be one of the greatest challenges. It's important to remember that outgrowing is a natural part of evolution. Yet we often live in a world where making such changes is met with judgment, implying that something went wrong or that outgrowing is inherently bad. It's this very perception that often makes it so challenging to simply release what no longer fits. Crucially, before simply ending something we've outgrown, we have a choice in front of us. We can allow ourselves to acknowledge that we have outgrown something or someone, or we can continue to live on top of it. This choice is ours alone, and only we know the cost of holding on to what was and the potential gain for allowing something new in. This acknowledgement often means initiating open and honest conversations with those in our lives who are impacted, recognizing that they too may have evolved and outgrown things themselves. It's in these dialogues that we can rediscover the opportunity to create new foundations and begin again, rather than assuming a relationship, role, or identity is simply over. There can be an evolution, a shift, a growth into a new, unimaginable possibility. That said, it takes two to have a desire to actually relate in a new way, and there needs to be an openness to shift, change, and to create. It takes work, but it is well worth it. Often, we don't even have these conversations because we assume we already know what the other person will say, slipping into resignation. Yet it's crucial to give the people in our lives the opportunity to truly hear what we have to say and allow them room to surprise us. And at times, the other person involved may not be open to it. That too is okay. But I cannot stress enough the importance of taking the time to flesh through these moments with courageous honesty, facing these challenging conversations as a natural part of life, and definitely not a sign of failure or that something went wrong. Despite these opportunities for growth and courageous conversation, it's a common human tendency to avoid the discomfort of letting go. Instead, many of us find ourselves subtly resisting, attempting to stretch and contort ourselves to remain in familiar yet now restrictive spaces. We might try to inhabit a life that has simply become too small to truly breathe, much like wearing clothes several sizes too tight. This can manifest experientially as a persistent, dull ache of dissatisfaction, a quiet yearning for something undefined, or a profound sense of being held back. We might feel a growing restlessness, a lack of vibrancy, or a subtle but constant pressure, as if an invisible weight is pressing in. The feeling of suffocation, having no room to fully be, or feeling unseen, are just a few expressions of this confinement. Perhaps take a moment and just allow yourself to feel into that. What unfolds in your experience when you have outgrown something? How does the confinement or resentment show up for you? What does it feel like in your body-mind? What are the thoughts, the escape routes you create, the survival tools you put into action? What emotions are present? What does your breathing pattern show up as? What happens to your sleep, your food choices? These are just some prompts. I highly suggest you take a moment to bring awareness to what rings true for you so that you have an experiential touchstone for future points of insight. The tendency to constrict ourselves, even when life calls for expansion, is not a new phenomenon. Indeed, this universal human experience of feeling held back, despite our inherent potential, was keenly observed by Tennessee Williams. He said, "We have one life, one shot at all the glorious things of life, and we walk about constricted, apologetic, afraid. We have so little time. We have so little space upon which to spread our love and our talents and our kindness. Run towards life fulsomely and freely." His words beautifully articulate the very confinement and missed potential we often sense when we're trying to fit into a life we've outgrown. I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect on what resonated with you as you listened to those words. Does this echo a feeling of constriction you've experienced? Or perhaps does it ignite a longing for greater fullness and freedom in your life? It's natural to immediately want to jump to solutions and action steps when we feel this stirring, but here's a crucial point. The process of creating inner space doesn't necessarily begin with outward action. What often stops most people is the immediate need to know the action steps for letting go, but that may or may not come later. Just acknowledging it and sitting with the acknowledgement takes a beat. It creates the initial space. This is a natural part of the growth process, and we see it reflected back to us in nature all the time. Yet embracing this natural rhythm and actually creating this initial space can feel incredibly challenging, even impossible in our modern world. This feeling of having our inner space crowded by what we've outgrown, a sense of being weighed down, is often compounded by the fast, busy, and full lives we lead. There simply isn't much room for anything else, let alone the new and unimaginable. This presents a twofold challenge. We may know deep within that we've outgrown something, but because we can't possibly imagine what another way forward looks like, we stay where we are. This is precisely where allowing space for the unimaginable proves so supportive. So how do we actually begin to create that vital inner space and get in contact with this unimaginable reality, to step beyond just the conceptual understanding? The path to making contact with the unimaginable is simpler than you may think, and it begins with, first, consciously create the space to slow down. Turn your attention inward and begin to empty out. This is an intentional choice, a commitment to pause amidst the external noise. Next, release the speed and consciously choose to do less than you can. This might feel counterintuitive in our achievement-driven world, but it's vital for shifting from a state of constant doing to one of gently being. And finally, work with your knots in BodyMind through the breath. As you ground into your body and release and soften within, allow the earth to hold you. Notice the softening in your muscles, including your brain and eye sockets, in your connective tissue and internal organs. Feel a deep softening layer by layer until you are grounded enough to sit in your bones. Be held and allow yourself a moment of quiet stillness. This stillness is like a soul balm within. It recharges, regenerates, and creates the space for true emptiness. As you engage in this process, it's normal for the monkey mind, the storm of thoughts, barrage of emotions, and unpleasant physical sensations to insist and even feel incessant. This experience takes time to release. It's helpful to remind yourself that this is completely normal. Take a beat through grounding into your body, where reality is truly located, and start with the surface layers, gently working your way inward for what you're willing to engage with. You can imagine these experiences dispersing like effervescence, softly dissolving into the vast space you are creating. From this quiet stillness, this place of profound presence, something far more powerful and intelligent than our imagination begins to emerge. At first, you might become aware of contemporary fears, shame, guilt, and worries. But as you remain neutral in what is now, these sensations eventually disappear and a steady inner peace ascends. Now, I know these steps may seem incredibly simple, perhaps even unbelievable in their simplicity. Yet, I always tell the people in my life to never believe what I say until they have tried it on for themselves, and it has rung true deep within themselves on an experiential level. Simplicity, you see, is key. It's an art in and of itself, often holding the most profound power for deep change. I would like to leave you with this beautiful poem by Julia Fehrenbacher, a gentle invitation to carry this sense of stillness and presence into your day. Go gently today. Don't hurry or think about the next thing. Walk with the quiet trees. Can you believe how brave they are? How kind? Model your life after theirs. Blow kisses at yourself in the mirror, especially when you think you've messed up. Forgive yourself for not meeting your unreasonable expectations. You are human, not God. Don't be so arrogant. Praise fresh air, clean water, good dogs. Spin something from joy. Open a window, even if it's hot outside. Sit, close your eyes, breathe. Allow the river of it all to pulse through your eyelashes, fingertips, bare toes, Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe until you feel your bigness, until the sun rises in your veins. Breathe until you stop needing anything to be different. Please do note that in the original poem, it says to open a window even if it's cold outside, but in the month of July, we don't have cold, so I edited it myself. I hope you don't mind. In any case, what a beautiful reminder this poem is to truly inhabit our lives. This gentle practice of presence and emptying out truly sets the stage for the unimaginable to unfold. I invite you to carry these words with you until we meet again. Next time, in part 3, we'll dive even deeper into the how of connecting with this unimaginable realm. We'll explore the transformative power of embodied presence, the profound healing found in tenderness, and the incredible wisdom held within your very breath. Until then, I invite you to gently explore what may be ready to be emptied out in your own life. I thank you for tuning in and listening today, and invite you to share with me what resonated with you. Feel free to share this episode with anyone you think may find it supportive, and please don't forget to subscribe. Until next time. If you are interested in working with me on any level of body-mind well-being, whether it be through individual body-mind maturation work sessions, perhaps participating in a series, individual privates, or through my video-on-demand services, if you have questions, if you would like to engage on any level, feel free to schedule a free 15-minute consult in the appointment section, www.christianepiano.com, or email me directly at growth@christianepiano.com.